is up, BFFs? Welcome back to another episode. What's up, Ann? How are you?
Oh my god, that's so cute. What's up, BFFs? Oh my god, that's so cute.
You guys are BFFs.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
I'm like,
and also, like, new intro. I totally forgot what I'm saying.
Who are you?
It's me, Vic, from Silla Vic. Welcome, everyone. And I have here
Hi.
with me.
I'm Ann Duskus. The Studio Duskus. Welcome.
New day,
We
new
have the
energy,
giggles.
you know?
Yes, you know?
You know what I mean.
Yes.
Yeah, so what are we talking about in this episode, Ann?
Asking for help, not asking for help, help.
Help. This episode is literally just
Help.
a call for help.
Help. Yes.
Please send help. SOS.
Please send help. HALP. Help.
Okay. Yeah, help. Help me.
Please.
Yeah. Obviously, this is like a weird topic for us somehow. Like, it's something that, like, do you feel like if it's like a vulnerability thing, you know, like we tend to be like very strong, independent women, and asking for help is like something that we would use only as a last resort. You feel that way?
I feel that way. I definitely feel that way. And I think, so, okay, can we tell our audience real quick, like, how many siblings do you have and where do you land in the hierarchy?
Okay, so I have a younger brother, a baby brother. He's 10 years younger than I am. And yeah, like I'm basically his second mother. So
Yeah.
the other day, you know what he said to me? So I sent him, like, we always send sibling reels, you know, to each other if they're like they're funny, because they're like, hey, like, for example, like there was one where it's like, obviously your parents know that I'm the favorite, you know, and I sent that to him just to, you know, spite him. And then so I sent him one, and then his response is like, you know, I made you, right? Like, you're cool because of me. Like, I put you where you are. And I'm like, I changed your diapers. Okay. Like, how about that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
so
okay.
that explains our relationship.
Yeah. And I'm asking, like, why this is important is because I'm trying to figure out if, like, you know, psychologically, if this is kind of why, like, we have a hard time asking for help, because you being, like, the oldest and an older sister, like, and then also the fact that, like, you're much older than him, that you feel like you have to take responsibility of him, and, like, and then so you can't show him your weakness because you're trying to take care of business in him.
And, like, you know, being the oldest in an immigrant family, like, I take care of all the paperwork. I take care of anything that's, like, you know, English related, any documents
For your parents.
Like, for my parents.
Yep.
Exactly. So what's your excuse?
No excuse, honestly. Like,
where do you
I'm
land?
the baby.
And,
I have an older sister, and I'm the baby. And I never have to take care. I didn't really have to take care of, like, for someone, like, growing up. But yeah, I don't know.
But you're literally very, like Ann takes care of me all the time in the studio. You're the attentive one.
We
and,
take
like,
care of each other.
Like, you will bring, like, let's say we go on a picnic. We've never been on a picnic before, but if we go on a picnic, you bring everything.
No, that's not true. Auntie
like,
Vicky.
oh, you need utensils.
Listen.
You need, like, napkins.
No.
You need. Oh, I forgot this. No, I have it. Don't worry.
Let's just say between the two of us, you're set. Like, you never have to bring anything, okay?
Yeah.
So, because Auntie Vicky is a thing.
So like, you know, you've got the. I feel like you are usually, like, the person to take care of business.
Okay, so I'm not huge into astrology.
Okay.
And maybe some of our listeners are, and they
Neither of
can
us
be
really
like,
are.
yes, this is why, Anne.
Yeah.
But
Wait, what's your
supposedly,
sign?
Cancer.
Okay, Cancer.
Supposedly, Cancers are very maternal.
Oh, interesting.
And so I wonder if that has a lot to do with, like, what you're describing, and then why I'm more independent, because I just want to take care of things.
Yeah.
For better or for worse. It's not always great. It's always, like, it could be overbearing sometimes, to be honest.
No, it's always a great thing.
Ask my husband that. But yeah.
I'm sure he'll agree.
Yeah. But I think Yeah, and then so I think, and also just like being an Asian woman and then growing up Asian as a girl, I think it's weird, like, because maybe like girls generally speaking, and I hate I'm even like stereotyping that like girls will like, I don't know, like are maybe more delicate, you know, and they need to ask for help or something. But maybe perhaps it's because I've always felt like I'm more tomboyish, and so I sort of have this like inherent stubbornness that I can do everything myself, and I don't know where
Like
that
you're like
comes
the
from.
quote unquote boy, like
Mom. I think it's mom.
yeah.
Because my mom has always told me stories about like all the hard times and like she's endured, you know, as a young woman, and how she like left her like family like from the countryside to go into the city to get a job to make money and send money home. And so, and she's the second oldest of her like 6 siblings, and then so she's always had this responsibility of having to take care of a family. And then so she's always told me stories about that growing up. And then on top of that, like when we immigrated, my mom was the one that stayed with us while my dad's business still in Asia. And then so he wasn't with us most of the time. My mom was the one that like took us to school, helped us with our homework, and then, you know, just like she spends the most time with us. And so I think I get a lot of my independent influence from her because I've watched her be so independent from a man, or this, in this case, it's just like happens to be my dad.
Yeah.
You know, to where like she just had to step up and like play the role of both parents, you know. So then I think I just like observed that growing up, that I think maybe that's what instills sort of this like independence in me, to where like, and also Asian women are terrible, like they don't ask for help.
They don't ask for help
And
at
then
all.
so maybe that's where I get it from too.
Yeah. So it's like a mix of like admiration and, you know, respect, and then also just like to kind of break that, you know, stereotype of like being very like weak and like, you know, dependent or like whatever, right?
Okay, so break it down for me, because you kind of already started like weak, dependent. So why do you think we have a hard time? Okay, actually let me start from the beginning. Like, first question is, do we agree that we both have a hard time asking for help?
Yes, I would say so.
Okay.
We like are like, can we like, I think the type of people we are is like, how can I help you? Like, allow me to help you, right? Like, we're always asking each other, like, can I help you with anything? Like, let me know if you need help. But that offer is never taken up unless there is a time when you're like, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to ask for help.
Yeah.
Right? Like, last resort. It's usually the last thing that we do. Okay. I would say yes.
Okay, so then the next question is like, why do you think we have a hard time asking for help?
I don't know. Maybe it's like we take pride in being able to be independent and take care of business by ourselves. I think there's a sense of accomplishment too, right? Where you're like, this isn't that hard. I can do it. We like a good challenge. You know, I think that's like intrinsic to our personalities. It's like we see something and we're like, how hard can that be? I can do it. You know, and so to a certain extent, I think that we don't ask for help because sometimes we can see that as like a weakness, or as like we're unable to complete this task by ourselves.
So it's a pride thing, would you say? Sometimes?
A lot of the times, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. Like, for sure. We pride ourselves in being very competent on our own, and we're very high maintenance people, but we take care of ourselves, and we can do everything. But like, totally, it's like we don't want to ask for help because that would make us come off as less than.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting, Vicky. Interesting. So I'm trying to. Okay. So I think I have a hard time asking for help because I think it's not always because I feel like it's vulnerable to do that. I think it's largely due to the fact that I have a hard time troubling someone.
Yes. Yes.
And I think that plays a huge part in why we don't ask for help, because we understand sort of like anyone that we would consider even asking for help. We know for a fact that they would never say no if we ask for help.
Right.
They're waiting for us to ask for help.
Yes. Like, you know that you offer help. So you're like happy to help.
Right.
And so are the people surrounding you that you would ask for help. Right. Yeah.
And I think we, and I don't know why we do this, Vicky, but correct me if I'm wrong if you don't believe you do it, but I think there's this sort of like, it's a card, you know? It's like, I'm going to redeem this coupon.
Yeah.
You know, it's
when
a coupon.
You really, it's like a,
right.
What do you call that? Like a lifeline type of thing.
Yeah, like, do I absolutely need this right now?
Mm-hmm.
No, then I'm not going to use it.
Right.
It's like you're almost like, it's almost like again, it's a coupon, and it's almost like something that you use, and then when you use it, nobody else is keeping track except for you. It's like, oh my gosh, I asked for help
like
this time. I cannot ask help
so
again
high. Yeah, like
in another year.
Right, exactly. It's like, no. Like, I'm never going to do that. Or it's like, if I ask for help for something, then I'm going to have to return the favor. Or like I'm going to try to, also be helpful, because I don't want to be that person that's like always asking somebody for help. Like, I want to contribute too. You know what I mean? It's like this, we're so difficult. But let me tell you, like, the reason why this also came up is like a bunch of things happened recently. But one of the reasons is like my partner at home will always just be like, let's say we're in the kitchen. Hey, can you grab me that? Like, we're both equidistant from the fridge, right? Hey, can you help me do this? Hey, can you do this? Okay, can you wash this for me? And I'm like, why? How did we suddenly just become chef and sous chef? You know? Whereas for me, it's like, oh, I can do all of these things all at once. And when I ask you, that's when I truly need help. Like, hey, I can't get this open. Can you please open this? Or, hey, I'm actually really busy watching these things. Can you please do this? Where it's like not a casual thing. But I know there are people out there that are so used to just being like, hey, can you grab that for me? Hey, can you do this? Hey, like, like just delegating tasks. And that's not something that we do very often.
And also, I would just say right now, like, I don't hang out with anybody like that. Like, they're just not a part of my circle.
Yeah. Oh, I'm way too close. I mean, done deal.
You know what I mean?
Can't get away from it.
No, but I mean, your husband's different. But I'm saying, like, that I'm sorry, I have no tolerance for that, and I just will not allow it.
Yeah.
And so, so I think that's a big part of, like, okay, if I ask you for help, I feel like I owe you something. Even though, okay, let's, like, totally just, like, say it on record right now, because if I were to ask you for help, Vicky, I wholeheartedly believe, like, 100,000%, that you do not expect anything in return from me.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then there are those people, like a handful of people in our lives, who are like you to me. Mm-hmm. But then I just have a hard time accepting that.
Yeah.
So it's not your problem, it's my problem. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And so I mean, we need to work on that, girl.
Right. But is it like do we do it to an extent where it's detrimental to us?
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Because, okay, for example, like a while back, I was like casting, right? I was plaster casting for the first time. I'm learning how to plaster cast for the first time. And I just been been on YouTube University, like learning all the different things.
I love that.
And like, I figured it out on my own, right? But then we also have a studio mate who's lovely, and he's super helpful, and he's someone, like, if he helps you, he wants nothing in return. But, like, we just have this internal guilt of, like, oh my gosh, like, because we know, like his time is so valuable.
We don't take him for granted.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, we cannot afford to pay you to do the things that you do for us, so that the fact that you're taking your time out of your busy schedule to do it for us, like, it generates actually a lot of guilt,
right.
even though we're super grateful.
Right.
And he's like, oh yeah, we can do this, we can do that. I'm like, No, like this takes so much time. Like I don't want to bother you to like take time out of your busy schedule. Like this is like a $20 per hour task. Like you need to focus on your $1,000 per hour task.
Yes.
You know, like no, right?
Yes.
And so, but then it's like, but then over time, it's like, it's hard for us too because we feel guilty for always saying no because like he just so like loving and so eagerly want to help us solve like problem solve, you know, because he cares about us. And so then sometimes we're like, oh man, like I was talking to my husband about it and I was like, oh yeah, you know, I'm doing this casting thing, and then like John said that we can do this for like, you know, like we can do it this way to save time. And my husband's like, why don't you take him up on it?
Yeah.
And I was like, because X, Y, and Z, you know? Yeah. And he's like, but then you can get done so much faster. I was like, but sometimes it's not about getting it done faster, you know, because there's so many variables and factors. And then again, like, it takes up so much.
Though?
We are overthinking this. We need to listen to our overthinking episode again. Vicky, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's a lot. So, I mean, guys, if you can't tell already, we have a very difficult time. We talk ourselves out of asking people for help.
Yeah.
So how do we break this cycle? Because I think it's important that we address this issue. Let's confront this, baby.
Yes. I feel like that's what we need to get out of this episode is like figuring out how we like, but okay, wait. Let me just say this. Like the closest people to us. So with my parents, for example, from Canada, born and raised in Toronto, and we get snow every winter. Yeah. My parents have a son at home. I'm throwing my brother under the bus. He sits there and he's, you know, on his computer, whatever. They never ask him to go out and shovel the snow. You know?
Who shoves the snow then?
My mom and my dad.
Oh,
my dad, typically, if he has to like go to work, he's the first one out of the house. Or my mom, because she doesn't want to tell her son to do it. You know? So I feel like this is like ingrained in our culture. Like how often do your parents ask you for help? Like maybe now that they're like older, or maybe like only when they absolutely need to, will they ask you for help? Because, but like, why can't they? You know, like they were family. They, you know, are, yes, they're our parents. They're older than us or whatever. But like, I feel like that's not a thing either. They won't ask us for help until they absolutely need it. In many aspects, like in physical things, or even in like mental things or whatever. There's this like, I don't know. There's just this weird divide, and there's this like wall between, you know, them being able to ask us for help, and, you know, I guess as kids it's easier to be like, hey mom, dad, I need your help with this thing. But then as you grow older as well, you're like independent. I'm like, I don't want to ask my parents for help. Like I can deal with this, you know? So like, what is this like strange, invisible, you know, expectation that we have?
It's just interesting that you say that, because now that I think about it, like they don't really ask me for help. But you know what I've been doing though, Vicky, and I think like you do this too with your parents. It's like you almost don't wait until they ask for
somebody
help.
Asks.
You know, like, because I think by now, like, we can observe in any situation that we're in, whether or not it's me to you, me to my parents, me to whoever. Like, I feel fairly confident that I'm observing enough, and I don't know if everybody's like this, but like for me, I can tell. It's like, you know what, you need help. You're not gonna ask for help, but I'm gonna insert myself.
Let me help you. Yeah.
Like I'm not asking you if I can help. I'm just going to help.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so, like, I think you do that too.
Yes, I do. But that's because like we're very observant. We try to be very considerate, and, you know, like we're sensitive to these things because we care a lot about our parents. But like, how does that translate in like a friendly relationship? You know, like, again, like I know you're always gonna have my back, right? I think before, like even early on, you were like, Vicky, if you were ever homeless, you can just come to my door and I'll take you in. And I know that to be true. Like I know that if, let's say, the world ends and I don't know where to go, I can go to you, you know? And like, I feel like we're close enough for that. But still, we're still like very like, you know, not casual about this. Like, hey, Ann, can you do this for me? Hey, like, you know, because again, I'm like, I wouldn't, and you're right. I think like if I'm considering our relationship, just the two of us in isolation, like I don't take your help for granted. So I wouldn't just casually be like, hey, Ann, can you do this for me? Out of like convenience even, or out of not lazy, definitely wouldn't be like laziness, like I don't want to do it, so I'm asking you, but like even convenience, like I would go out of my way to do something rather than ask you to do it for me, even though it's on your way, you know, like, but I don't, what is this? It's so weird.
let me just tell y'all listeners how exhausting Vicky is. Okay, I'm like, I'm gonna call her out there under the bus. Okay,
what did I do?
She was away for a couple weeks. First 2 weeks, actually 3 weeks back home, and then 2 weeks on vacation, and then so she brought our fish into the studio.
Mr. William Eyelash,
beautiful little fish. Yeah, and then I don't have a fish. I used to have a fish when I was very, very young, and I killed all the fish. I was like nervous. And I was like, Vicky, how do I take care of this fish? Tell me exactly what to do. Yeah. And then she's like, okay, just feed it every couple days. Yeah. And then, or whenever you're in the studio, that's what she said. She didn't even say like feed him every couple days. Whenever you're in the studio.
Can you imagine if I'm like, here's his sleeping schedule, and you have to feed him
I'd much rather
at this time.
That. Yeah.
Yeah,
then,
but like, so I'm not like that.
She left, and then I was like, okay, I'm in the studio. I'm like feeding it, and then I'm like, do I turn the light on? Do I not turn the light on? What I do? And so I text her, and then she's like, no, like whatever. Like the natural light's enough. I'm like, I mean, but then there's a light for a reason, so why don't I? So I'll just turn it on when I'm in the studio. Yeah. And then I was like, well, why don't I just feed it every day? Like, isn't that, you know? And then why do I feed it every few days? You know, so you said that to me because you didn't want to bother me to, like, be on a schedule every day. But I'm like, dude, like, it's here. Like, you already brought it in. I don't have to go to your house. Like, I'm already at the studio. Like, just, you know? So
I just want it to be, like, as like, low effort as possible for you. You know? Because it's like, but then you know that I would, like, again, I feel this is our problem, is that if you gave me a long checklist, I would happily comply. I would happily be like, okay, I said yes to Ann doing this. I'm going to go and do A, B, C, D, all the way to Z.
Girl, let me tell you, one day if you ever take care of my dog, if I ever let anyone, because I'm so exhausting, I'm so protective of my dog, and I trust you completely, but if you get to take care of my dog, Mabel, shout out Mabel, I will give you a list of what exactly you need to do.
Give me a list,
okay?
and I will literally
I'm not
be
gonna
like,
be shy.
the most like, yes, we got to do everything exactly as the instructions say. We're not deviating. Give me the time. Give me the amount. Give me everything.
So I need you to match my energy. That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
Okay. Like
I know, but also I'm low maintenance with my fish. Truthfully, though, I'm low maintenance. Okay. I don't actually remember how often. Well, I remember to feed my fish, all of them. They're well taken care of. But like, there's no like, you know, set time, or like I don't do it every day. I really don't do it every day. So which is why.
But like, seriously, we are not helping us and our listeners. Like, how do we break the cycle, Vicky? Like,
just
how do
ask
we
for help when you need it?
Okay, you say that, girl. Like, when do you need it? Like, if you like, because right now the us is like, okay, well, we need it is if we're at like a 15 and the threshold is actually 10. Right. Like, we should have asked for help at 9.5.
Yes.
Like, not
every
at 15.
Time. Right.
And so, like, how do we get to asking help at 9?
Yeah. I think, like, also realizing that if you ask somebody for help, that, like, also, this doesn't work with everyone. It just works with people that you can actually trust. And I think that takes time to develop that type of relationship. But, like, if it's somebody you can actually trust, when you ask for help, it makes it easier for them to also ask for help. I feel like we got into this cycle because right off the bat, we were just like very like polite with each other and very like, I respect you so much, I would never trouble you, you know? Yeah. Whereas like we've come so far, and then it's like, no, I like trust you with my life. Like, why wouldn't I just casually ask you to do, hey, Ann, you're going down anyways, can you take this for me? Yeah. Like, is very casual. Whereas we're like, no, like, let me do it. I'm going to wash the dishes. I'm going to do everything, you know? I think we just got into this, like, habit of, like, not casually asking for help. And then it's awkward now if you're just like, I'm going to ask you for help for this little thing that I totally could have done, would have taken me an extra 2 minutes. But like, yeah, again, is it pride? Is it, you know?
Yeah, is it pride or is just like out of habit? Like, I've never asked for help before. Why am I asking for help now?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And if I know we just had like Mental Health Awareness Month, but I think okay, so I have a really like one of my best friends. She's recently going through some stuff, and she's also one of those people who didn't realize that she needed help until it was kind of a little too late, sort of thing. And it had a major impact on her mental health because of that.
Yeah.
And so,
without
but at least,
her even knowing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. At least it's better late than never. And then so she realized that she needed help, so she like started seeing a therapist. But then it's just like so severe because what she's experiencing is sort of bleeding into every aspect of her life, right? Like personal relationship,
As it does.
work, you know, and it's just like dragging her down, right? And I think beyond us just asking for like, hey Vicky, can you like match this paint for me, or like, Ann, can you laser this for me? Like beyond those kind of like tasks that you need help with, I think it's important to sort of recognize like, when do we need help to avoid sort of like catastrophe?
Yes.
And I think oftentimes that's what we have a hard time like recognizing and differentiating.
Yes.
And so I think, you know, for you and I, it's easy because we see each other every day. And I know immediately if you're not in the right mood, right? And I think vice versa. And so I think it's easy to like be like, hey, Vicky, are you okay? Like, how can I help you? You know? And, you know, with people you don't see very often, like, or you don't get to see face to face, or you only get to see like on a video conference, like, it's so easy to hide behind that.
It is.
You know?
Yeah.
And so I think, as far as like that goes, I think it's important to be open-minded to the idea of like, maybe I do need help, you know, to help me in my sort of like my mental health.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like just to, you know, for friends to check in, but also just to be like, hey, can I just like run this by you? Is this normal? Is this something that you feel as well?
Yes.
You know, because like also I have been sort of working with my own mom, you know, because she's been, you know, having a hard time sleeping, and that all bleeds into mental health issues as well. And it is that it's like I think she kept it from me for a really long time until it wasn't okay, you know, and then you realize and you're like, oh wait, like this is severe, you know, it's gotten to a stage where it, like you said, bleeds into your life, bleeds into your like ability to just function, you know.
Yes.
And so like all of these like mental health can lead to, you know, lack of sleep, you know, insomnia, not being able to sleep, and, you know, when you're not healthy in the mind, you're not healthy physically either, you know. And it's so interesting because we need to stop that before we get to the point where it's too late, you know, and we're already like underwater with all of the issues that can arise. And I feel like, I think that's truly like where this kind of this topic arose from, is like watching people we love and watching them be in a state where we almost didn't realize because they hid it so well. You know, it's like you said, like if you call up a friend, you're going to be like, hey, how's it going? You're going to tell them like mostly the things that are really like exciting in your life. You're not going to, you know, just like call them and be like, hey, you know, this kind of sucks. But really that's normal.
Yeah.
You know, and that's something that we need to do more often. If something's not going right, then we need to talk about it.
Yeah, and I think it's just like believing that you're not alone. I think that is a really big thing, because I think like if I were to ever come across like any physical challenges in my work, there are a handful of people that I can call up immediately and I could get help from, you know, to troubleshoot certain things, talk through some ideas. And I think, you know, as being like entrepreneurs, and a lot of our like fellow listeners are, you know, entrepreneurs or attempting to become one, it's very often that we feel like we're on an island.
Yeah.
But nobody put us on the island but ourselves.
Right. Yeah.
You know?
We just decided that we were going to isolate ourselves.
Right.
Yeah,
and,
for sure.
And honestly, like sometimes I feel that way because I feel like nobody understands my struggles and I have to go through it alone.
It's like nobody gets me. Like,
right.
I'm suffering through this all by myself,
right.
and nobody gets what I'm going through. And
right.
so, you know, I feel like there's we're not committed to letting people know what we're going through. We kind of just do it a little bit. But you don't get it because you're not doing the same thing. Right. And then we kind of withdraw and we're on our own. And then we're like, we can do this. And then until we make it, we're not going to emerge from our little shell.
Yeah, or like it's a pride thing, right? Because he's like, you know what? I'm going to show you. I can do it myself. You know, which is like so
silly.
ass backwards.
It's so silly. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, I think we all have to just be a little more conscious about that. Like we're so eager to help other people, and I've seen you like I've seen you troubleshoot with like friends, you know? They're like, oh, they have an issue. You're happy to just, you know, stop what you're doing and take the time to like, you know, unpack everything with them and at least be that ear that they needed, right? And that's the same thing with my mom. Sometimes it's not, you know what my problem is? I'm a very like solution-driven person. So a lot of times, like even with, you know, friends that I have, girlfriends especially, if they tell me their like love life or whatever, I'm very much like, he cheated on you. Once a cheater, always a cheater. That's it. You know, I give the worst relationship advice, you know?
Oh my gosh, I love it.
Luckily, this is not a relationship podcast, but like I'm very like solution driven and to a fault. Like it is not good. People don't like
how do you see what I'm seeing right now? How do you not see what I'm seeing?
And so like I'm not empathetic when it comes to like people talking about like their emotions or like they feel conflict or whatever. I'm like, no, dump him. So, like dump
move
his
on with
ass.
your life.
Yeah, exactly. So I feel like sometimes it's just the help that you think you need is not necessarily like this big thing that you make it out to be. Sometimes it's just, you know, being the person there to hear someone out. Like I rubber ducky you all the time. That almost sounds weird. Rubber ducky being just like I need to talk out an idea with you, and like sometimes I don't even wait for Ann to be like, oh, that's a good idea. I'm just like, so Ann, I have this idea, like I think it can work, and I want to do this, and I want to do this, and she's like, yeah, I think you should do it. I'm like, yeah, I think I'm gonna do it, you know. So it's like sometimes you know the help is not such a big deal, or it's not something that takes a lot out of somebody. It's just like a casual, like I need someone to listen, to hear me out.
Yeah.
And that makes people feel better already.
Yeah. And I think it's so important to remember, okay, so Vicky, like you and I, is it safe to say that we find a lot of joy helping each other?
Absolutely.
Or whenever we get to help somebody.
Yeah.
Right? Because like, oh my God, they finally asked me for help.
I know.
Yes, please
I'm
let
always
me help
like,
you.
I can't do anything for Ann. I feel like she can do everything that I can do. So how can I help her?
But you know, like it's that like we sort of get this like dose of like dopamine, you know, when we get to do something. Actually, no, it's oxytocin. You know, it makes us feel warm and fuzzy when we get to do something for somebody else. Yeah. And so we have to
I love
put...
that you use science words. Oh, that was, yes.
Did I use it right?
Turn on.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. But like we have to remember like put ourselves like in their shoes. It's like, okay, if we get a hit of oxytocin when we help somebody else, then like, are we like stripping the other person a chance of getting a dose of oxytocin for helping us? Yeah. Right? So it's like a two-way street.
Absolutely.
So like, please allow other people to help you.
Yes,
there.
exactly.
Okay. Saying that to myself.
Yeah. Now I'm getting me in the street. Ann, can you do this for me?
Yeah.
Can you help me with this?
Yes. Yes. So I can have some oxytocin.
Yeah. And can you just paint the shoe for me?
Ooh.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm
I
going to
can
pass on that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
If you trust me, I'll do it.
Yeah.
So.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
But yeah, exactly. Okay. Well, I guess the message is really, if you need help, ask for help. Don't be afraid to ask. And,
Yes.
you know, you will find that a lot of people that are important to you and like good to you in your life are happy to help, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah. So
Exactly.
whatever it is, like things during your work or, you know, mental health or whatever you're going through, just reach out and see what's out there. And you're like, even your friend, for example, suddenly like you're telling me, oh, she's going through all these things, but so many people are there to help because everybody's just ready.
Okay, can I tell you what I said to her, which we need to practice,
Okay.
girl? Like what we preach.
Practice what you preach. Yeah.
I told her, please give other people a chance to help you. Like, allow them like an opportunity. You know. So we need to like open up.
Yes.
That like same sentiment
Yes.
to people who are willing and caring and want to help us.
Yes. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay. All right. I think
All
we
right.
sort of solved it. We'll see if
Maybe.
we'll check back in to see
Yes,
if
please hold us accountable.
asking
If you
for help.
see us on Instagram, you're like, okay, Ann, it's time to
Please
ask for help. Okay, call me out, please. Please. Yeah.
I love that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
thanks
Great.
you guys for tuning in.
Yeah.
If you like this episode, please like, comment, and subscribe. It helps other people find our podcast.
Yes, and thank you as always for listening, for commenting, for supporting us throughout this entire journey. We appreciate you so much.
Yay.
Okay,
Thank
catch you guys next time.
Till next time.
Bye.
Oh my gosh, I can't even speak. Okay, till
Bye.
next time. Bye. Yay. Okay, great.